The red dust of Mars Station 7 floated in the air like tiny sparks. The night was silent except for the steady hum of generators. Ryan Cole sat alone in the observatory room, staring at the stars through a cracked glass window. He was a human engineer, one of the few left who still worked out here after the war. His job was simple: maintain old machines and fix broken sensors. But his heart always wanted something more, something unknown. That night, while he was adjusting a faulty data link, a blue light flashed across the console. It was not a normal message. The signal carried the official crest of the Galactic Science Council, the most powerful organization in the galaxy. Ryan blinked in surprise and opened the transmission. A calm, melodic voice echoed through the speakers. Human engineer Ryan Cole, this is Dr. Selira Varn of the Council Research Division. I am conducting an experiment on human emotional desire, and I have selected you as the subject. Ryan laughed softly, thinking it was a prank. Yeah, right, he muttered. Next thing you'll tell me is aliens want to study human love. But before he could shut the console, the air around him shimmered. A tall figure materialized right in front of him. She was not human. Her skin was silver like moonlight. Her eyes glowed a soft violet, and her movements were so smooth they almost didn't seem real. Her voice was gentle, like wind passing through glass. I chose you, Ryan Cole, she said. You show emotional patterns that intrigue me. I want to understand them. Ryan's hand froze over the controls. He had seen alien ambassadors before, even scientists, but never this close. And none looked like her. She was beautiful in a strange, distant way, but also terrifying because she seemed to look through him rather than at him. What exactly do you want to study? He asked carefully. Desire, she replied without hesitation. Human desire, the force that drives your kind to love, to fight, to build, and to destroy. My people do not understand it. They say desire is chaos. I believe it is evolution. Ryan tried to speak but found no words. The silence stretched between them like a storm about to break. He finally said, You picked the wrong guy, Doc. I'm just an engineer. Selira tilted her head slightly. That is precisely why I chose you. You are ordinary. Yet your emotional readings show extraordinary fluctuations. You have felt loss, hope, and longing. I want to feel what you feel. Her last words made him pause. Wait, feel? He asked. You mean you can't? Our species evolved without emotion, she said. Her voice calm but heavy. We see logic, we measure beauty, but we do not experience it. Our council fears human emotion. It spreads. It infects, it changes logic into madness. That is why they sent me here, to understand it before it destroys us. Ryan stared at her glowing eyes and whispered, Maybe you're not supposed to understand it. Maybe it's something you live, not study. For a brief second, her expression changed, her gaze softened, and the glowing light in her eyes flickered like candlelight. She looked away and said quietly, Perhaps that is why we fail. Suddenly the intercom crackled. A robotic voice from the command deck said, Attention, all personnel. Alien scientist Dr. Selira Varn has arrived under direct order of the Galactic Science Council. Cooperate fully. The other engineers peered through the glass window. Whispering, some laughed, some looked nervous. Everyone knew humans had a strange reputation across the galaxy. Passionate, unpredictable, and dangerous when provoked. Ryan turned back to her. So what do I have to do? You will live your normal life, she replied. I will observe, I will ask, I will learn. He frowned. That sounds invasive. Her lips curved into the faintest smile. Science often is. For the next hour, she followed him everywhere, asking questions about everything. Why he drank coffee. Why humans smiled when tired. Why music made him close his eyes. Her curiosity had no limits. And Ryan began to notice something unusual. Every time she looked at him, her eyes lingered a little longer, as if searching for something beyond data. Beyond logic. Later that night, when the station lights dimmed, Ryan sat by the observation window again. Selira stood beside him, her silver reflection shimmering in the glass. You really think desire is dangerous? He asked. Yes, she said softly. Because it can make a being defy reason, defy orders. Even defy their own nature, Ryan chuckled. Welcome to being human then, for the first time. Selira smiled, small, hesitant, but real. I will record that reaction, she said. Yet her tone sounded almost amused. In the silence that followed, the red glow of Mars stretched across the horizon. The universe felt large, quiet, and full of secrets. Ryan didn't know that this was only the beginning. He didn't know that her research would soon break every law of her people. He didn't know that the alien scientists studying desire would one day feel it. For him, far away, deep in the Galactic Council chamber, alien leaders watched the data feed from Mars Station 7. Their faces cold and distant, one of them said, "If she begins to feel, terminate the project, but for now." On that lonely red planet, two minds, one human, one alien, sat beneath the stars, unaware that their connection would soon change the fate of an entire galaxy. Morning came quietly on Mars Station 7. The red sunlight seeped through the dome windows, bathing everything in a soft orange glow. Ryan Cole sat at the metal counter sipping his coffee, trying to act normal. But nothing about his life was normal anymore. Across from him, the alien scientist Dr. Celira Varn stood perfectly still, holding a small recording orb in her hand, watching him as if every move he made contained some hidden code. "Why do you drink this?" she asked, her voice calm and curious. Ryan smiled faintly. "Because it wakes me up. And because it tastes like home." "Home," she repeated, the word rolling off her tongue awkwardly. "You mean a location, a structure, or an emotion?" "An emotion," Ryan replied. "Home isn't a place. It's a feeling." Celira tilted her head slightly, eyes glowing with faint violet light. "Fascinating," she whispered, and noted something into her orb. "Humans assign emotional weight to locations? This suggests strong associative desire networks," Ryan chuckled. "You make it sound like I'm a lab rat." She blinked once, confused. "A rat?" "Never mind," he said with a smirk. "Just keep watching, you'll learn." Hours turned into days. Celira followed him through every task. She watched as he repaired drones, calibrated engines, and spoke with other workers. Every time he laughed, she analyzed it. Every time he grew silent, she asked why. But no matter how many questions she asked, she couldn't predict his answers. Human emotions were chaos to her. One moment calm, the next impulsive. Sometimes he got angry at broken machines. Sometimes he smiled at small things like the flicker of light on water. Each reaction made her pulse quicken in ways she didn't understand. One evening, while reviewing her data, she noticed something disturbing. Her biorhythms had changed. Her temperature spiked when Ryan spoke close to her. Her focus shifted when he smiled. It was impossible. Her species wasn't supposed to feel anything. She tried to ignore it, telling herself it was part of the experiment. But late that night, when she watched him through the observation glass, she realized something inside her was shifting. Ryan sat alone in the workshop, a soft melody playing from an old Earth device. The song was slow, full of longing. Celira approached and asked, "Why do humans create music like this? It sounds sad." He looked up at her and said, "Because sadness can be beautiful. Sometimes we play sad songs to remember what we've lost. It helps us heal." Celira frowned slightly. "Sadness helps you heal? That is contradictory," Ryan laughed softly. "Yeah, emotions don't make sense, but they make us who we are." For a long moment, she stood silently beside him, listening to the music. The rhythm pulsed through the air like a heartbeat. Her skin shimmered faintly as her sensors overloaded with strange signals. "What are you feeling?" Ryan asked gently, noticing her reaction. She hesitated. "I do not know. It is not pain, not fear, but warmth." Ryan smiled. "That's emotion, Doc. That's the start of it." From that night onward, her observations changed. She no longer recorded just data. She asked questions that felt more personal. What does it mean to miss someone? Why does love cause pain? Why do you smile even when you're hurt? Ryan answered each one as simply as he could, but deep inside he realized something. The scientist was changing. Her eyes softened, her voice grew gentler. Sometimes she even laughed, a sound so light and pure that it surprised everyone on the station. One day, Commander Yates, the human supervisor, pulled Ryan aside and whispered, "That alien of yours gives me the creeps. She's too interested in you. Be careful, Cole. They say her kind don't feel anything, but if she starts to, the council might see it as contamination." Ryan brushed it off, but the words stayed with him. He didn't know why it bothered him so much. Maybe because part of him didn't want Celira to stop feeling. Maybe he wanted her to be more human. That night, while he worked late, the lights dimmed unexpectedly. Alarms blared for a second before the system stabilized. Celira rushed in, her silver form glowing faintly under the red emergency lights. "Are you injured?" she asked quickly, stepping close. "No. Just another power surge," he replied. "Happens all the time," but she didn't step back. Her hand, cold and metallic, rested on his shoulder for a brief second. It was a gesture she didn't even realize she'd made. Ryan looked at her quietly. "You're learning fast," he said softly. Her hand trembled slightly and she pulled it away. "I should not interact like this. It interferes with observation." "Maybe you're not just observing anymore," Ryan said. His tone low and steady. She didn't reply, but the glow in her eyes dimmed as if she was thinking deeply. In the following days, her reports to the council became irregular. She deleted sections, hiding parts that described her strange reactions. Her colleagues on the central hub noticed and started asking questions. The whispers began. "The alien scientist is showing human patterns." Selira ignored the warnings, but she couldn't ignore the new sensation burning in her chest whenever Ryan looked at her. It was not data. It was not curiosity. It was something wild, uncontrolled, alive. Late one night, while standing under the stars, she whispered to herself, "If this is desire, it is more powerful than logic." And somewhere deep within her, a spark ignited, a spark that no alien law could extinguish. She didn't know yet, but her transformation had begun, and soon the entire galaxy would feel its ripple. The days on Mars Station 7 grew quieter, but tension hid behind every silence. Dr. Selira Varn continued her research on human emotion, but her reports to the Galactic Science Council became shorter, less detailed, more guarded. She told herself it was for scientific accuracy, but deep down, she knew the truth. She was hiding her own change. Her readings made no sense anymore. The data showed anomalies in her own neural patterns. Fluctuating like human emotions, her logical mind tried to deny it. Yet every time Ryan smiled or looked at her with kindness, the reading spiked. Every time he laughed, her heart, a thing her kind didn't even believe they had, beat faster. One night, Selira sat in the observation lab. Staring at the hollow screen, it displayed her personal log. Lines of alien script shimmered, warning her. Subject contamination detected. Recommendation: report to the council for memory correction. She closed the screen instantly, fear gripping her chest. For the first time in her existence, she didn't obey an order. She simply whispered, "No." Ryan entered quietly behind her, carrying a box of old Earth tools. "You're working late again," he said softly. She didn't turn around. "I must finish my report." "Report or confession?" he asked, half teasing, half serious. Her hands froze. "The council believes I am compromised," she admitted. "They think I am no longer objective. They are correct." Ryan set the box down and moved closer. "Selira, they can't just erase you, can they?" "They can," she whispered, "and they will. My kind does not allow emotion. It spreads like infection. They will call it contamination, and they will destroy me to protect their logic." Ryan looked at her in shock. "Then we have to leave." "We can't let them find you." Selira turned, eyes wide. "We?" "Yes," he said firmly. "You're not alone in this anymore." For a long moment she stared at him, her glowing eyes softening. "You would risk your life." "For me?" Ryan smiled sadly. "You came here to study human desire, Selira. This is it. It makes us do stupid things for people we care about." Her voice trembled. "Care about," she repeated as if tasting the words for the first time. The next morning, the council's signal arrived. "Dr. Varn, your behavior violates protocol. You are ordered to return immediately for decontamination." Ryan didn't wait. He packed supplies, oxygen filters, rations, plasma cells. "We're leaving before they send enforcement drones." Selira hesitated. "If I go, I lose everything, my title, my people, my name." "Then make a new one," Ryan said. "On your own terms, without another word." They ran through the corridors, alarms blaring behind them. The hangar doors opened to reveal Ryan's old shuttle, rusty, slow, but still functional. He jumped into the pilot's seat while Selira initiated a cloaking field from her wrist console. As the engines roared to life, station guards shouted commands. Plasma bolts sliced through the air. One hit the hull, sparks flying. Ryan yelled, "Hold on!" and pushed the shuttle through the red Martian dust into the blackness of space. For hours, they drifted through silence, the stars passing like distant ghosts. Finally, Ryan exhaled. "We made it." Selira sat beside him, staring out the window. "I am now a fugitive," she said quietly. "The first of my kind to run for emotion," Ryan grinned. "Welcome to humanity." They hid in the asteroid belt near the edge of the system. The place was cold, silent and forgotten, perfect for hiding. Ryan repaired the ship while Salira modified her sensors to block tracking signals. Together they worked like partners, but something deeper grew between them, something neither could explain one night. Salira showed him her research logs. "Look," she said, "I found something in your emotional energy readings. When humans feel desire or strong emotion, it releases a wave pattern in their biofield. It is not just energy, it can affect nearby matter. I believe this is why humans evolve faster than any other species. Your emotions rewrite reality around you?" Ryan stared at her, amazed. "Are you saying emotion is a kind of power?" She nodded slowly. "A power your species does not even realize it has." He laughed softly. "And you wanted to study that." Her eyes met his. "I still do, but now I want to protect it too." Suddenly, a warning light blinked red. "Incoming signal detected." Salira quickly accessed the console. The transmission came from the Council flagship. "Return immediately, Dr. Varn." Or face termination. Ryan clenched his fists. "They found us." Salira looked at him with quiet determination. "Then they will see what emotion truly is." They activated the shuttle's engines and dove deeper into the asteroid field, rocks colliding and breaking apart around them. A squad of Council drones followed, firing bright plasma bursts. Ryan maneuvered sharply. "Hang on!" Salira's eyes glowed brighter than ever. She extended her hand toward the control console. For a moment everything stopped. Time itself seemed to freeze. The drone's energy bolts slowed mid-air, drifting like dust in sunlight. Ryan stared in disbelief. "What did you just do?" Her voice was calm but trembling. "I felt," she said, "and it changed the flow of matter." The drones exploded one by one as energy rippled from her body. The space around them shimmered with violet light. When the silence returned, Salira collapsed into Ryan's arms. Exhausted, he held her tightly, whispering, "You just proved emotion isn't weakness. It's evolution." As her eyes fluttered open, she smiled faintly. "Then the galaxy will fear it." Ryan looked out the viewport at the distant stars. Good. Maybe it's time they learned what humanity really means, unseen by them. The Council's central servers recorded the entire event. The words of the highest official echoed coldly across the network. "Initiate pursuit. The scientist and the human must be stopped before emotion spreads beyond control." But it was already too late, because the forbidden discovery had begun to awaken something across the stars, something unstoppable. The stars stretched endlessly before them. The stolen shuttle drifted through the cold void, its metal hull scarred and silent. Inside, Ryan Cole adjusted broken wires while Dr. Salira Varn sat by the window, watching the distant lights of the galaxy she had once served. Her violet eyes reflected both fear and wonder. She whispered softly, "They will not stop, Ryan. The Council will chase us to the edge of existence." Ryan tightened a bolt with a wrench. "Then we'll just keep moving," he said calmly. "Humans are good at running when the universe turns against them." Salira looked at him, her silver skin faintly glowing in the dim light. "You joke, yet you do not fear. Why?" He smiled. "Because fear never helped anyone, and besides, I've got the smartest alien in the galaxy on my side." Her expression softened. "You are illogical," she said, but her voice carried warmth. For days they jumped between hidden outposts, refueling among smugglers, miners, and old war veterans. Rumors spread quickly. Whispers of a human and an alien scientist fleeing together, hunted by the most powerful council in existence. Some called them traitors, others called them heroes. One night, as the ship floated near a dying star, Salira replayed the data from her previous experiment. She stared at the wave pattern that appeared whenever she felt emotion. It was unlike anything known in science. She turned to Ryan. "Do you realize what we have done? We have created proof that feeling changes the fabric of the universe. Emotion bends physics itself." Ryan chuckled softly. "You're saying love can rewrite reality?" "Not love alone," she replied. "Desire, sorrow, compassion, even anger. All of it. Every emotion carries power." Before Ryan could respond, alarms blared through the ship. A red light flashed on the console. Multiple heat signatures detected. Council ships inbound. He cursed under his breath. They found us again, outside. Enormous war cruisers emerged from hyperspace, their black hulls reflecting the dying starlight. Energy cannons locked onto the small shuttle. Salira's calm voice broke the silence. "They intend to destroy us, not capture." Ryan grabbed the flight controls. Then let's make it hard for them. The shuttle jolted forward, weaving between asteroids. Plasma fire chased them like shooting stars. Celira worked quickly, redirecting power from shields to engines. Her fingers danced across the console. We cannot outrun them for long. Then we fight, Ryan said firmly. She stared at him in disbelief. Fight? Against warships? Humans have done worse with less, he replied. His grin defiant. She hesitated, then nodded. Very well. She closed her eyes, feeling the familiar warmth rising again. The same energy that had destroyed the drones before. Her pulse matched the rhythm of her thoughts. For the first time, she didn't suppress it, she embraced it. The air inside the shuttle began to shimmer. The controls flickered, and Ryan watched as a wave of violet energy rippled outward. The nearest cruiser fired a beam of light so bright it tore through space itself. But before it could hit them, the beam bent away, splitting harmlessly into the void. The alien soldiers aboard their ship screamed in confusion. Impossible, their ship is warping the field. Celira opened her eyes, glowing brighter than the stars. I am channeling emotion through the energy field, she said. Her voice steady. Their weapons cannot touch us now. Ryan grinned. Now that's what I call a miracle. They darted through the debris field, the violet aura protecting them like a living shield. But each time Celira used her new power, it drained her energy. Her breaths grew shallow. Her silver skin flickered like a fading light. When the last cruiser retreated, Ryan rushed to her side. You're burning yourself out, stop. She smiled weakly. You forget this is my choice. My desire. He held her hand tightly. You don't have to prove anything anymore. Her voice trembled. I am not proving, I am feeling, do you understand? For the first time, I am alive. Ryan's throat tightened. You're more human than most of us. Outside, the Council's remaining ships regrouped, transmitting warnings across every galactic channel. The contamination has spread. Containment impossible. Activate planetary lockdowns, but it was too late already. Other alien species began reporting strange sensations. Joy, sorrow, fear. All things they had never known before. The emotional wave was traveling faster than light. In the silence after the battle, Celira leaned against the window, watching the trails of violet energy shimmer through space. It is spreading, Ryan. Emotion is reaching the other worlds. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Then maybe that's the beginning of something new. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The galaxy outside seemed both infinite and fragile. Suddenly, a message flashed on the console, encrypted. Marked urgent, Ryan hesitated before opening it. The voice that came through was cold and precise, Dr. Varn. Your transformation threatens universal stability. Return now and submit, or the Council will initiate sterilization of the infected systems. Celira's eyes widened. They would destroy entire colonies to stop this. Ryan slammed his fist on the console. They can't stop it anymore, you've already changed everything. Her hand trembled as she whispered. Then the galaxy will burn before it learns to feel. Ryan turned toward her. Determination in his eyes. No, it will live. Because we'll make sure it does, she met his gaze. The faintest smile forming on her lips. You speak with faith. Not logic, that's the human way, he said softly. Outside, the stars flickered with faint violet hues. The first visible sign of awakening emotion across alien worlds. Entire civilizations were beginning to feel warmth. Pain and love for the first time, the Council fleet regrouped far behind them. But Ryan and Celira were already gone, their ship vanishing into the glowing edges of a nebula, leaving behind trails of light that would become legend, and somewhere within that endless light. A single thought echoed through both their minds: if emotion could reshape galaxies, then no force could stop what was coming next. The nebula shimmered like a living ocean of color. The small shuttle drifted quietly through the glowing mist, half hidden by clouds of light inside. Ryan Cole sat beside Dr. Celira Varn, watching her faint reflection in the glass. Her silver skin was dim now, her glow weak but steady. Weeks had passed since their escape, but the galaxy had already begun to change. Reports filled the communication waves. Entire alien species were feeling emotion for the first time. Soldiers hesitated in battle. Scientists wept at beauty. Leaders questioned the logic that had ruled them for centuries. The Council called it an infection. Humanity called it evolution. Celira sat silently, hands clasped together. Her mind replayed the moments that brought her here. She had gone from a scientist studying human desire to the very being of that desire. Her emotions pulsed like new life inside her. And yet she feared what came next, Ryan, she said softly. I have destroyed everything I once believed in. He looked at her with calm eyes. No, you've given life to something the universe never had before. Her gaze lowered. But at what cost? The Council is preparing extermination fleets. They believe emotion will unbalance reality. Ryan leaned forward. They can't stop this anymore. Celira, it's already spreading faster than light. Like truth. A faint smile crossed her lips. You humans are strange. You destroy, yet you heal, you hate. Yet you love with the same fire. Ryan chuckled. That's what makes us human, she nodded slowly. And now, it makes me too. Suddenly the console blinked red. A massive signal was approaching. Multiple ships entering the nebula. Celira's heart sank. They've found us. Ryan's hands flew over the controls. How many? An entire council fleet, she whispered. They are here to end this. Outside, the darkness filled with the cold gleam of warships, thousands of them, forming a wall of light around the nebula. The lead ship transmitted a message, Dr. Celira Varn. Surrender and cease all transmissions. Humanity's contamination ends here. Celira looked at the data screen. The signal she had unknowingly released was still spreading across systems. Carried by energy waves, by light, by thought, every moment delayed meant millions more were awakening. She turned to Ryan, her voice steady. If they destroy us, the wave will die too, Ryan met her eyes. Then we make sure they don't. He began rerouting the ship's remaining power to the signal amplifier. We boost your frequency, send it through every star in this sector. Celira hesitated. But that will overload the ship. Then we'll go out together, Ryan said quietly. But the message will live. She reached out, her hand trembling as it touched his. You would die for this? He smiled softly. For you, yes. For a heartbeat. Silence filled the cabin. Celira's breath shook, something deep inside her burning brighter than fear. Then let us finish what we started, she said. She stepped toward the control core, placing both hands on the glowing crystal that powered the ship. Her energy flowed into it, merging with the human technology. The lights flickered, the walls hummed, and the air began to vibrate with power. Outside, the fleet prepared to fire. Thousands of cannons charged in perfect synchronization. The council commander gave the order, eliminate the anomaly. But before the first blast could reach them, Celira opened her eyes, now blazing with pure violet light. The nebula around them came alive, its colors swirling into radiant waves. Every star nearby pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. Ryan stared in awe. Celira, what's happening? Her voice echoed like 1,000 whispers. I am connecting every mind that can feel, human and alien alike. They will know what we know. Across the galaxy, beings of every kind froze as visions filled their minds. They saw images of love, compassion, courage, sacrifice, and the warmth of connection. They saw Ryan and Celira standing together in the light, facing impossible odds, and truly felt for the first time. Some cried, some laughed. Others simply stood in silence, overwhelmed. The emotion rippled outward from world to world, until the whole galaxy glowed faintly with the same violet hue. On the council flagship, chaos erupted. Officers clutched their chests as feelings they'd never known surged through them. The commander fell to his knees, whispering, "What is this? What is this warmth?" Celira's voice rang through the comms. Calm and infinite, it is what makes life worth living. Ryan watched as the ship around them began to crack, energy pouring from every surface. The amplifier reached critical levels. The signal was complete, but their ship couldn't survive the strain. Celira looked at him one last time. Ryan, I can stabilize the system, but only if I stay connected. No, he said instantly. Grabbing her arm, we do this together. She smiled softly. You already taught me what it means to feel. Now let me show them what it means to love. Before he could stop her, she pressed her hand to his chest, transferring a surge of light through him. Her final words echoed in his mind. Live for both of us. The energy exploded outward, flooding the nebula with brilliant color. The council ships were caught in the wave, their systems failing as emotion overtook their cold logic. The explosion didn't destroy, it transformed. The wave became light, spreading across the universe like dawn. When Ryan awoke, he was drifting alone in the wreckage. The nebula had changed color. Glowing soft violet and gold, he whispered her name. Celira. But only light answered him, then faintly, a familiar voice echoed through his comms. I am here. in every heart that feels. Ryan closed his eyes, smiling through the tears. The galaxy had changed forever. Civilizations once ruled by reason now wept, laughed, and dreamed. The first emotion had awakened across the stars. From that day, no one spoke of the experiment. They called it the awakening. And somewhere beyond the stars, the memory of a human and an alien lived on, as proof that love was the greatest force in the universe.